The NHS was founded on Christian principles: care for the sick, service before self, the dignity of every human being, a love of life. It was built by people who believed in duty, sacrifice and compassion, values rooted in a Christian moral framework. Now it's pushing Islam, not just tolerating it, pushing it. A taxpayer-funded NHS staffed network is distributing guides to employees on how to convert to Islam, not how to treat patients better or reduce waiting lists or stop Uncle Bill dying in A&E corridors. No, how to convert to Islam. The guide literally calls it the best decision you'll ever make, like they're a smarmy salesman trying to shift that knackered BMW. And just in case your family isn't thrilled about your sudden devotion to the historical figure Muhammad, note that I don't call him a prophet, don't worry, the guide reassures new converts that many friends and relatives need some time to accept the good news. I bet.
This is your child and she's right in front of you.
She doesn't look like my daughter.
Really?
I mean, it hurts me to see her like this because she looks nothing like my daughter.
And it doesn't stop there. Staff have also been urged to fast for Ramadan, not because they're Muslim, but because it might help them understand and experience how Muslims feel. Right, because the solution to record waiting times and sewage in maternity wards is empathy fasting. Becky from finance needs to skip lunch so she can better appreciate Amina's spirituality. 10 years ago, the idea that Britain might become Islamic was regarded as a joke, the kind of thing people mocked as fear-mongering. Now, state institutions are literally promoting religious conversion to Islam. Literally. 20 years ago, the idea that white English people would become a minority in London was a racist conspiracy theory. Now, it's a demographic fact. And if you dare to mention that in 30 years the English will become a minority in England, you're still labelled a bigot, even when you're using official statistics.
In a position where we'd be looking at a population where all of a sudden the people who are once the majority of the country are the minority.
I think by then we would have a minority of those who define themselves as white British.
You might not care. You might tell yourself it doesn't matter. But even if you don't care, your life is still going to change. Because when cultures collide, it's not a two-way street. You adjust. You make room. You delete parts of yourself. Because you have to be inclusive. I've seen it in offices. Secret Santa, cancelled. Work meal out. Drinks after work, guys, cancelled. Why? Because managers are terrified of upsetting one person. All hell would break loose if Khadija dropped an email to HR, and so everyone suffers, and our lives change. And now even the simple act of shaking hands is under threat. That most natural, polite, noble gesture between men and women, a symbol of trust, respect, and civilised interaction, is being quietly erased because one culture doesn't like it. And so we go back in time.
And Imam Sufyan Iqbal of the Hayes Research Centre.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for having us today.
Good morning, hello, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us today.
Good morning, hello, thank you so much.
In the NHS, guidance now says some Muslim staff may not want to shake hands with the opposite sex. God forbid. So what do? We don't challenge it. We don't explain that shaking hands is a basic British custom. We just delete it, like it never mattered. Another quiet surrender in the name of inclusion. And yet again, it's not both sides adjusting, it's only one. Always us. Christianity wouldn't do this. Christianity doesn't cancel human decency or demand we abandon our manners. It doesn't instruct believers to avoid polite gestures with half the population.
Thank you for having us today.
Good morning, hello, thank you so much.
Christianity is morally superior to Islam, and yet it doesn't impose itself. It doesn't control. It doesn't demand submission. It doesn't punish you for not believing. It offers truth. And then it leaves you free to accept or walk away. You can ignore it, mock it, walk past it, and it will still offer you grace. Islam doesn't do that. Islam pushes. Islam insists. Islam makes demands. And our institutions roll over every time. And it's all happening inside the NHS Muslim network, which isn't just promoting a single leaflet. Oh no, that's just a start. They've built an entire support package for Muslim staff. Talent development webinars, career support, allyship training. A series called How to Be a Better Muslim. Yes, really. Not how to be a better nurse, not how to improve patient care, how to be a better Muslim. They've also published New to Hijab and an allyship guide for non-Muslim colleagues. so you can learn how to tread carefully around someone else's religion, while all you want to do is to be left alone. Because you're not just expected to tolerate, you're expected to celebrate. You're expected to kneel, to adjust, to perform public displays of loyalty to an ideology that has no interest in reciprocating. And if you don't smile enough, or show enough enthusiasm, you can bet your ass you'll be dragged off into a disciplinary. And all of this, it's done on NHS time, with your money. But don't worry, the NHS can afford it. After all, it only receives £1 trillion from the taxpayer every 5 years, and still somehow never has enough money for cancer drugs. But there's always plenty of cash for allyship webinars and religious mentoring sessions. Oh yeah, top NHS bosses like Chris Hobson.
People who are responsible every day for overseeing the safe delivery of care, what they are saying very clearly is they cannot provide the right quality of care and meet the performance standards on the money that's available, and something has to give. And we should have a proper debate about what should give.
Raking in hundreds of thousands a year of your tax, volunteer for something called reverse mentoring, where junior Muslim staff get to sit them down and explain how they should think. And they love it. They lap it up. They're on the payroll. And then you've got Selina Ullah, chair of Derbyshire Healthcare NHS Trust, who says, if all our staff feel included, we can provide patients with the best quality care. Really? Is that what's happening? Because from where most of us are standing, inclusion seems to mean less care, longer waits, and a staff culture obsessed with identity politics instead of doing the actual job. Now contrast that with the Christian idea of service, humility, sacrifice, thinking of other people before yourself, putting the patient before yourself, doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Christianity says, how can I serve you?
One nurse couldn't do everything. It's all a team spirit on our ward. All of us work together. The doctors, the sisters and the nurses.
Woke ideology says, how will you serve me? You are being told, not asked, to accommodate something that never accommodates you. You're watching your culture shrink, your traditions vanish, your values get treated like a hate crime, while everything else gets reinforced, celebrated, institutionalized. This isn't diversity, this isn't progress, this is erasure, slow motion cultural replacement. Not with fire and sword, but with training modules and public funding. You don't lose a country in a single day. It doesn't collapse in a moment, it dissolves through awareness months and relentless ideological creep. One HR directive at a time, one cancelled tradition at a time. You lose it gradually, and then, suddenly, it's gone.